Hi guys, today we're going to be working on solving equations with variables on both sides. By the end of this video, you should be able to do just that. Go ahead and pause your video and write down these key steps. You'll notice that these are very similar to what we did before. The only difference is we're now putting in this step 2, which is to combine terms across the equal sign before we do our backwards order of operations, which, just as a quick reminder, is where we start with adding and subtracting or doing all those operations and going backwards. So let's go ahead and get started. Step 1 tells us that we need to simplify anything first. So we're not starting with that backwards order of operations yet. So what we need to do first is, I'm going to put my 2 lines down the equal sign to help myself out. We need to distribute through this -2. So anytime we see distribution, we need to be sure to do that first. Be careful of your signs here. This is a positive 14n. Bring everything else down. It's a 34. And so now what you'll notice is that we have variables both on the right side and the left side of our equation. So we need to consolidate those all to one side. So what we're going to do is to undo this positive 14n. The opposite of it is a negative 14n to both sides. You have to be sure to put it with its like term, combined with its like term on the other side. 5n minus 14n gives us a negative 9n. So again, the only reason why I'm changing these signs is because I'm going to the opposite side of the equal sign, so I need to do those opposite operations. So at this point, we are ready to start that backwards order of operations. And what I need to be sure that I do first is undo any addition and subtraction that's on the same side of the variable. So we'll do the opposite of positive 34, is negative 34. We're subtracting 34 from both sides. Those cancel out on the left, leaving us with negative 9n equals negative 36. We've finished with the addition and subtraction. Now let's undo multiplication and division. So on the left side, we have negative 9 times n. The opposite of that is to divide both sides by negative 9. Our negative 9's cancel out, leaving us with n equals a positive. So this negative divided by a negative makes a positive 4. You can always go back and plug this in to check your answer. Let's go look at example 2. So for example 2, I see that I have to distribute twice. So once on the left, once on the right. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So 9 times x will give me a 9x. 9 times 3 is a positive 27. Break down this equal sign. 8 times 7 is 56, and then 8 times negative 2x is a negative 16x minus 4x. Let's be sure that we're watching these signs. So distributing is the first part of simplifying. Next is combining like terms. Now, what you have to be very careful is you cannot combine like terms across the equal sign. You have to focus on one side of the equation first, and over here on the left, 9x plus 27, there's nothing to combine. So now let's look over at the right side. I do have two like terms, a negative 16x minus 4x, which gives me negative 20x, and I bring everything else down. So again, I cannot stress enough, do not combine across the equal sign. Alright, but now I do see that I have variables on both sides of my equations, so I do need to consolidate them to one side using my opposite operations. And again, I like to get my variables all to one side, so I'm going to add 20x to both sides of the equation. 9x plus 20x is 29x plus 27 equals 56, and these canceled out. And so now we have a two-step equation working through our PEMDAS backwards order of operations. So starting with undoing any addition and subtraction, we'll subtract 27 from both sides of the equation. We're left with 29x equals, that's 3 is 30, so 29. And we're finished with addition and subtraction. Next, we need to divide, multiply or divide both sides if needed. I have 29 times x, opposite of times 29 is divided by 29. 29's on the left cancel out, leaving us with x equals 1. And again, you can check that work by plugging it back in. Go ahead and complete this U-Try, show all of your work for credit, and we'll see you in class.